Ah, welcome back. What is it that you talk like that? Like what, man? You got like the deep voice, you talk like this, you know. I've got a large gullet. I've got a large mouth. I'm a big mouth rock biter, you know what I'm saying? I need a big mouth to bite big rocks. I'm the size of a cliff. I'm a cliff-sized individual. That's why do you... Whoa. Why do you talk like that?
Another one.
Huh? What do you mean? What do I talk like what? I mean, you sound like you're from Bavaria. I am Austrian. I'm from Austria. And my name is Arnold. I'm from Austria. Is that like Bavaria? Yeah, that's like Bavaria. Do you like Bavarian cream? I do. Then why do they call it Boston cream? Because they cannot pronounce Bavaria. I didn't know that. Boston cream donuts, man. Boston cream rocks. Even better. Is that because you're a rock biter? Precisely. What's trending, man? Well, first of all, Bavaria hasn't been spoken of this highly in for a long time. Are there many Bavarian artists? I don't know. Wasn't like Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Beethoven, Ludwig von Beethoven? I don't know. I know anything with a powdered wig just gets all blended together for me. Yeah, me too, man. Imagine me with a powdered wig. Like, it's hard to do. Your head is so... your face is large, but your head is tiny. What would I look like with a powdered wig? Let's find a powdered wig for me. Oh, everything's freezing. Great. Computer's frozen. Don't matter no more. Let's find a powdered wig for him. Nah, let's not.
Another one.
What? Oh, there we go. We're back. Oh man, I gotta tell you something. We're always riddled with the fun technical problems. Like, on a normal day, all of the settings as they are, totally normal. But some days the computer's just like, eh. And I do have Spectrum. Yeah, Spectrum is terrible. Here's how Spectrum is terrible, and I'll explain why. Sometimes it just goes, well, I quit. I'm like, but Spectrum, I need your internet connection. I do this every day. And then they go, okay, well, pay us more and we'll give you a higher bandwidth. And then I get the higher bandwidth. And I'm like, wow, thankfully I'm paying you more. And then the same thing happens. And it quits. And they're like, oh, yeah. There's no reason. We'll send a guy. And then they send the guy, and then the guy will replace all my equipment and be like, there you go. We fixed your problem. And then the next week, same thing happens with the signal. It's not, my computer's a whole other issue, but the fact that all of my devices are like, you don't have an internet. Stop trying to pretend you've got an internet. and I'm like, but Spectrum, I'm paying the top tier. I've got 5 trillion gigabytes per second. Why aren't you giving me any of the internets? I'd like access to the internet, please. Do you guys think that the internet should be a utility? Considered a utility? I think so. I think it is a utility. I think that people literally can't live without the internet now. Just like you have water and electricity, should have access to information. I think so. What are you guys up to today? So anyway, I was talking about the Matrix theories. If you guys have a Matrix theory, let us know in the chat on the Matrix theories or the theories channel. You know, I'm just going to relabel it Matrix theories because it's already got the little like old school TV, which is very Matrix-like. Remember when Neo went into the architect's room and there was all those little TV screens? Man, oh man, I've been going down that rabbit hole of the Matrix lately, so to speak. And I gotta say, I'm really those Wachowskis really thought it out in a lot of ways. Maybe you don't agree with what their ideas were, but at the same time, pretty interesting ideas in those Matrix movies. They even followed the philosophy of somebody, and the person who was the philosopher who they followed was like, yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't really know. Philip K. Dick, that's a real name of a real guy. He, in the 70s and 60s, he wrote a lot of science fiction books, really good ones. He actually wrote the basis stories for like Blade Runner and Total Recall and Starship Troopers and stuff like that. He wrote, and in the 70s, there's like even footage of Philip K. Dick from the 70s going, we are all living in a computer simulation, and all of the information that we're getting is just data. And he was already imagining that type of world, which is interesting. I left for the Frontier years ago. It should be a utility. Well, Frontier, I gotta check out Frontier. I gotta check out some other options here. I've been shopping around right now. Right now, my shopping is for a car. And right now, in particular, at this moment, is like the worst time in the history of car buying to buy a car. So I am kind of up a creek, as they say, a proverbial creek made of, say, poop. And I don't even have a paddle to get up down said creek. I'm just gonna float down the stream of poop right now. I will have to wait probably for the next couple of months before I can purchase a car. And I live in Los Angeles, and that ain't easy, but I am learning the metro. I've learned the metro. I might have to take the bus to the doctor tomorrow, like an adult person. If I lived in Manhattan, this would be so much easier. Manhattan, you could get anywhere on the subway and whatnot, in the taxi cab. But I looked at the prices of like Ubers, and they were like, yeah, that's gonna cost you $75. It's like, do I take an Uber for $75 or do I take public transportation for $1.75? It just seems crazy. So what I'm doing right now is I lowered... Here's a little tip. You could lower your insurance while you're waiting to buy a new car. Apparently you can't cancel it. They just say, yeah. Did The Matrix off Sophia Stewart's story, The Third Eye? She won in court. Ooh, I didn't know about that. Let me know about that. Is there an article I could read about that? That sounds interesting. I've been really fascinated by the ideas in The Matrix, whoever came up with them. The movies are cool. I like that they lend themselves to like action adventure. However, the Matrix sequels, Neo has become Superman basically, except the Mary Vinci says, "Yeah, he is just merely a man." That was not a good French accent. But the point is, in the sequels, you already showed that Neo like is already the one and can fight off everybody. But then in the sequels, he's like, why is he even fighting these people? He could just fly away. And he literally wins. Spoiler alert: Neo wins by not fighting. Finally, he's just like, oh yeah, let me just lose to Agent Smith. That's how I should win, because every single time I try to fight him physically, it doesn't work. But it does kind of... It's fun to watch. And Neo is up against different types of bad guys in the second and third movies, different types of programs, but he's not really, you don't really fear for his life. You go like, oh, how is he going to get out of this one? And the only way they could do it was like open doors and put him in different places that he had to like be, thousands of miles away, or I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, right? Cool. Thank you for that. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to read that article later. But please feel free to drop that in the Discord. I don't know if you have access to the Discord. If you don't have access to the Discord, here's the link. I like your input, your contributions to the discussion are important, and we should all listen and have a discussion. People don't know how to have a discussion anymore, which is interesting. People just like to talk, so to speak. Speaking of me, they just like to talk at you. Well, that's why I always leave the voice channel open. Oop, I gotta leave the voice channel open on the Discord so we can have a conversation, a literal conversation, talking back and forth. Yeah, there it goes. Voice channel is open. But yeah, I am interested in the ideas in the Matrix because it does feel very relevant, and you can keep updating the Matrix literally every 20 years. You can just update the concepts. But the movies, didn't they feel very final? By the end of the third Matrix, you were like, this is over. They're done. This feels done. They've really exhausted every possible concept within this world, and also ideas that I didn't even want to see in this world. Which does lend its idea to being a Matrix inside the Matrix, which I think the next Matrix will be, by the way. Matrix 4, I think, dig this. This is my theory, that Neo gets his memory wiped, but he still instinctually knows how to design a Matrix. So inside the Matrix, he creates a Matrix that people can tap into. But then he starts to think, wait, are we inside a bigger Matrix? Because he sees the green code, but he also sees the golden code. You know what I'm saying? Maybe? I should get like a Matrix video that just pops up on the screen so it looks like you're looking through the Matrix at this show. What are you guys watching? I haven't seen... I'm watching Only Murders in the Building, which is hilarious. Looks like it's a very funny show. I am enjoying it. It's quite good. I was sad thinking about the prospect that it could be terrible. I was like, oh no, Steve Martin and Martin Short, I'm almost afraid to watch this. And Selena Gomez, I was like, I'm almost afraid to watch this. This could be terrible. I'm so delighted that it's really good. I'm like, oh, thank God this show is good, because that could have been embarrassing, having these comedy legends and Selena Gomez together and having it be a bad show. Imagine that. Oof, I would be upset. What else is trending, guys? Let me go on my phone and not on the internet, because it's Bruce Springsteen's birthday. Happy Bruce Happy birth, Springsteen. Howard Stern is trending. Howard Stern called out Joe Rogan, by the way. By the way, this show is the anti-Joe Rogan. This is the Fro Rogan show. It's not even the Seth Rogen show. Any second. Yes, this is definitely not the Seth Rogen show. I mean, I would not have anything to do with the show other than letting you know how terrible it is. I mean, this show is kind of terrible. I don't understand why anybody would watch it. Wait. Who is this guy over my shoulder? I am the watcher. I will watch you watching the show, but I will not watch the show itself. I feel sorry for you. I don't. Come on, man. I'm just trying to entertain. I'm just trying to have a chat. I'm just trying to be on the background while you do the dishes. You know what I mean? What else do you think is interesting about that discussion that Howard Stern and Joe Rogan are having? They're not having a discussion. They're having a debate. Joe Rogan is not really helping anybody by sitting there. Here's the thing that Howard Stern pointed out. Smartly. Joe Rogan's like, I got ivermectin. And everybody's like, you got a horse dewormer because you caught COVID. And he's like, what? I got it from a doctor. Howard Stern's like, yeah, you would also get a vaccine from a doctor, you dope. Why don't you get the vaccine from a doctor first before you go catching COVID and or spreading it? I don't get it. Just, like, if you're going to sit there and take medicine after the fact instead of preventative medicine, preventative. This is what it really should be about. In other countries where they have, quote, free healthcare, the doctors are incentivized to help you be healthy. You know, yes, you gotta love Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen is a critic of the show, but I still love his comedy. He's still a very funny guy. Preventative medicine is really important. Preventative lifestyles are very important. And Joe Rogan's like, I'm gonna go around and get a vaccine. I'm not gonna get a vaccine. I'm gonna take 15 different medicines after catching something that affects your body, instead of going, how about I don't catch the thing in the first place? A lot of people aren't focused enough on not getting sick first. They're like, let me weigh down the medical system, the healthcare. Let me weigh the healthcare system down with my burden because I didn't prevent myself from getting sick. I know a lot of people are like, well, there's a lot of people who have pre-existing conditions, and those are the people who are the highest at risk for catching COVID, and it's like, or dying from it. And it's like, yes, but it's not everybody's fault necessarily that they have pre-existing conditions. If there's an option for a vaccine, take the damn vaccine. Joe Rogan, if there's the option beforehand, you like to stay healthy, you like to remain healthy, why don't you take the vaccine? If you take the vaccine, here's the point. You're healthy, right? Until you're not healthy. See? That's how it works. You're alive until you're dead. What's up, Ron? Hello, Ron.
Here it is, my most likable song ever. Coca-Cola, lipstick ring, go dance all night, kiss me, just kiss me, Nefertiti. Lipstick, kiss me, lipstick ring, oh, that's the way you like it.
This is your most likable song ever?
Yeah.
People will love it.
It is a very likable song. I mean, it has all of the pops and the beeps and the squeals that you would need in a pop song. Rod, what are your theories about Matrix 4? We want to know. It's interesting. I think we're going to have a Matrix inside the Matrix. That's what we're going to have. We're going to have a double Matrix. We're going to have a triple layer Matrix cake. It's going to be delicious. Maybe. Those last two movies were depreciating in value. The Matrix, it was almost like they didn't have enough time or put enough time between the movies. Even though they had like 4 years, it was 1999 The Matrix came out, and then 2003 was when Reloaded, the year of The Matrix, 2003 was when Reloaded and Revolutions came out. And after watching Reloaded, I remember going like, I don't know if I can understand any more of this stuff. It's just a lot of stuff. There's a guy in a chair clicking a pen talking about the iterations and vis-a-vis. I don't. It's too many thoughts in one movie. Too many things. I want to see punching and kicking. But Howard Stern, yeah, we were just talking about Howard Stern calling out Joe Rogan for being a dope. Well, if it isn't, Raccoon Raiders.
Raccoon Raiders. Raccoon Raiders.
There's so much entertainment going on in this show. We got so much entertainment. You know, it's funny, Ron, that you say you have no interest at all. Because I was watching, because it just feels like they did. I'm curious as to how they could bend the mythology and how they could create more of a mythology with the series. Because if they do it right, I would be reinvested in the franchise. However, they did it to diminishing returns effect with the last two sequels. I was like, the first one is a great movie. The first Matrix, I rewatched it in the theater, and 2 years ago on the 20th anniversary, and I was like, this is a good movie. It's solid. It's just you could tell the Wachowskis were very ambitious, but they were also had a vision, and it was cool. It's cool to watch. The second two movies, they were like, oh, we get to do more of these movies? Uh-oh, we have to think of more ideas. And they put them all in that one movie. Joe Rogan is so dopey. I agree with you. Joe Rogan, the only times I listen to him are when he has someone interesting on, like Dave Chappelle or Norm Macdonald. Somebody interesting who is way more interesting than he'll ever be. If he just sits there and lets them talk, that's the only time I would listen to Joe Rogan. However, he's just so dumb. He's like, I'm just a dumb guy. Why are you listening to me? And I'm like, yeah, why? Nobody should listen to that guy. Nobody should listen to me. Nobody should listen to anybody. Do your own research. Listen, unless you went to like 10 years of medical school and you went through grad school and also you went to get your doctorate and whatnot, that means that you actually learned how to do research. Once you go to like graduate school and you and then you do a bunch of research to have a very specific area of concentration in your expertise, and you become a doctor of that subject, because eventually people just go like, hey, you've been doing so much research on that one very specific thing that you're the only person ever to do the research on, so we'll just call you a doctor of that. Why not? Well, you're a doctor of that. Now, me, Aristotle Full Throttle, I'm a doctor. I put the dumb in wisdom. I'm the doctor of curly hair. I've been doing this my whole life. Curly hair, frizzy curly hair. I'm a doctor of that. I'm an expert. I get an honorary doctorate. Doctorate by itself, by the way, what I've learned from my friends who have doctorates, that's basically it. There's just a bunch of doctors come together and they'll be like, oh, you know a lot about a thing? You're a doctor now. That's essentially how it works. That's how you get a doctorate. I thought there was like a very formal assigning of documentations and stuff. No, they're just like, man, you spent a lot of time working on that. You're a doctor now of that. One of my favorite doctors, by the way. One of my favorite doctors is the drummer for Killswitch Engage. The drummer for Killswitch Engage, ladies and gentlemen, is a doctor of percussion and drumming. I'm not joking. And listen, let's find some Killswitch Engage on my music library. And we're going to listen to a doctor of the drums. You ready? Oh, yeah. As Daylight Dies. Oh, that's a good album. Ready for it? Get ready for it, because you're not going to be ready for it when you hear it. It's going to be... Listen to this guy play the drum. That's not the drums yet. You'll hear... Get ready for it. Oh, man. Hope I'm not scaring you off with this heavy metal music. But these young kids, there's rapscallions, they listen to this heavy metal music. And they're causing vandalism. I don't know. They're just banging their heads. That's a good album. You get... Hey, what are my favorite songs? Nope. Get ready for it. I don't think you're ready for it. I'll skip to the part. That's a doctor on the drums. That's the doctor of drums. He, specifically, a whole bunch of drummers got together and they said, you can do this. That's a guitar. Those are two guitars. Oh, he's got the ride down. See that? He's playing the drums. Sorry. Guys, I nerd out about music. I might actually just do entire shows where we just talk about songs. That's my bad. Where I just listen to songs and then you watch me headbang. Because that would be fun for me. Like John Cena is a doctor of thugonomics. You know, it's funny. An entire panel got together to grant John Cena his doctorate in thugonomics, but he didn't show up. He didn't appear. There were no witnesses. All right, well, you get it. You get it, Ron. Everybody waited for him to be there. He wasn't. Nobody saw him.
You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps?
But Howard Stern, really, I mean, come on. He put Joe Rogan in his place. What's up with these anti-vaxxers, guys? You know you have to get a vaccine. They're like, well, we don't want our kids to getting vaccinated. It's like your kids have to get vaccinated for like a whole bunch of stuff before they go into public school. This has been a thing. That has always been a thing. There's a thing where they're like, you know, it's funny to me when people go on vacation. They're like, oh, we're going to this far off land. We just have to get a vaccine before we go. About 2 weeks before we go, we have to get a vaccine for diphtheria, right? Before we go. We just gotta go get our vaccines before we go on our little safari, right? They don't even think twice about it. Suddenly, people care about a vaccine. Suddenly. It's all dumb. Howard, such a great singer. He really is. Yeah, they just couldn't see him. There's no proof that he was there. Howard Stern. I love when Howard goes on his music, when he starts to sing in like musical formats. He just starts to spontaneously come up with a musical because it's always very spot on. I'm not a big fan of musicals, however, I do love Hamilton. It's a great musical because there's actually good music in it. This is really good music. I enjoy it. What else is trending, guys? What else is going on in the world? Hey Ron, I don't have a car, and I live in LA, and nobody walks in LA. There's a song about it called Nobody Walks in LA. Better Call Saul is trending. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul would like a word. After The Sopranos, The Wire came out, everyone was like, TV is good now, it's a real medium for genuine art. But then nobody actually went out and made comparably good shows again. What you talking about, Willis? Breaking Bad was dope AF. I liked Breaking Bad. Did you guys like Breaking Bad? Really good show. However, it's hard to watch now. Not hard to watch now. It just doesn't... when people watch Breaking Bad retroactively now because they heard about how good it was, so they start to watch it, right? And they're like, oh, this is a pretty good show. But they don't realize how revolutionary it was in 2008 when it came out. Because it changed all of TV to the point where we're like expecting high levels of drama, high levels of people dying and violence and characters that are very complex. Now we're expecting that. Beforehand, we weren't. Breaking Bad really shifted that whole thing. Oh yeah, Howard from Killswitch. I thought you meant Howard Stern. Howard from Killswitch. Howard Jones is a great singer, very powerful voice. However, they went back to their OG singer for the last few albums. Howard though, yeah, Howard. He's like just booming voice, Bostonite. But he wanted to. He was just. I think he's got some health problems. He's got like diabetes and stuff, and he's just like, I cannot continue to tour. It's too hard for my body. And you know, you got to respect someone looking after their health and try and stay at home and doing all of those kinds of things. I mean, you do, but you don't also. Come on, you got to live and die on the stage, bro. Do it. I saw Killswitch when they had Howard as a singer. Really good, really powerful. How come I don't have more Killswitch Engage songs on my computer? Albums. The End of Heartache. Oh, here we go. This song is great. Let's see.
I will bid farewell.
See, he can scream and sing. So let me help you instruct on the proper form for headbanging. And then you do that until you get dizzy and a headache, and then you pass out. Listen how fast that is. I got a headache. I'm almost passed out. Listen. This is his voice. What a voice. What's up, Master Killer? We just headbanging. You ever listen to Killswitch Engage? I was just talking about how the drummer is a doctor. You could look this up. The drummer for Killswitch Engage, ladies and gentlemen, has a PhD in drums and percussion. Listen to it. His area of study, heavy metal. I like it. You would not have this type of music were it not for Iron Maiden. You would not have Iron Maiden were it not for Black Sabbath. You would not have Black Sabbath were it not for the Beatles, by the way. That's true. I'm gonna try to be like Rick Beato. You guys watch Rick Beato on the on the internets? He'll go like this. Hey, listen to this tune. This tune has got beats on it. The guy's playing the drums, and then it's guitars, and the guitars and the drums, they come together. And listen to that guy's voice. I don't know. I'm probably scaring everybody off. Listen, I like heavy metal music. I like all kinds of music. If it's good, sign me up. If it's Imagine Dragons, I'll show myself out. Doing great here, sir. But you seem to have quite a delay between your chat room and your overlay chat display. Oh, man. Yes. 2 minutes? All right, well, in those 2 minutes, let us pray. You know what I think about praying? When people are like, let's all pray, I'm like, me too? You want me to do that? When people say, I'm sending your thoughts and prayers, I go, when they say, oh my gosh, something bad happened, I'm sending thoughts and prayers. If someone, I feel like saying, well, then you might as well eat a sandwich about it. Something bad happened, go eat a sandwich about it. At least you're doing something. Listen, I'm not one for religion. It's just, I don't want to bash any one religion. I would like to bash them all. It's just the problem is, there's too many of them, right? And they're all battling it out to see which one is the right one. Which makes me think, uh-oh, maybe they just made up. Maybe somebody's just making this stuff up, and then they're like, I made up a thing. Believe my thing. And your thing is not. Your thing is made up. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that people... Here, I'm going to go into the chat room here on Twitch to see what's going on. The 2 minutes delay. Here we go. Recent whispers. But I'm just saying, when people want you to participate in their fantasy, just make a movie of it. I'll go to that movie and I'll participate in your fantasy for that 2 hours, and then I'll go home. I don't have to, do I have to be there the whole time? You know what I mean? Let's see. Master Killer. Most of the time it comes from a good place, though, even though it's mainly placebo moral support. I would hope so, Master Killer. I would hope that it provides comfort for people who, in the right ways. The only time I get offended is when people want me to participate in it. You know what I mean? It's thoughts and prayers, I get it. Keeping people... Here's the thing, they do a study on this. That people will improve faster if you are sending them thoughts and prayers only, though. However, only measurably. They will improve measurably faster only if they know that you are, in fact, praying for them. This is true. This is actually true. Like you said, Master Killer, it's a placebo situation. People will, in fact, heal faster, measurably, somewhat, a little bit faster, if they know that you are thinking about them, if they know that you're praying for them. Not if, like, sight unseen. If they were by themselves and they had no knowledge of it, they do control studies of this stuff, and then they say, look, these people are in a room praying for the guy, he doesn't know that, he gets better at the same rate as anyone else would in this situation. These people in a room are praying for this guy. He knows that this whole room full of people is praying for him. He actually gets better a little bit faster. So you could say it's one thing, or you could say it's another thing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to believe or not. I just get offended when people are like, you should pray, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go eat a sandwich about it. Listen, cynical. Sometimes cynical. Mostly just having fun. Just hanging out, having fun. What are you guys up to today? What are you guys up to on this Thursday? Tomorrow I gotta go to the doctor. I gotta figure out how to get to the doctor because I don't have a car. And I'm in LA, and that's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna have to take the bus, I think. I looked at the bus route. It's gonna be about an hour and a half of buses. And I'll do it. I'll wear a mask. Well, placebo is real. People get better with placebo treatment. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. This is a fact, Jack. I play Dreamcast. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's absolutely true. The placebo effect is indeed an effect. That's why they call it the placebo effect. If they just called it the placebo non-effect, then it would not have an effect. But it's yeah, that's very true. That's why doctors indeed will, because they have sworn a vow to help heal at all costs, which means doctors will lie to you because they have not sworn a vow of truth. They have sworn, they've pledged a vow to do no harm. And they know, doctors oftentimes, they know that if they sort of either give you certain information or omit certain information or give you a sugar pill, this is an older practice, I'm sure. I don't know how often this is being performed today. There's no way to know. But they will do that. They'll sit there and go ahead and be like, here's a sugar pill, but they won't tell you. Believing that you will get better because of a placebo treatment, be it prayer or saline injection, it works for some. It says Master Killa. Treatment. This is all, in fact, part of medical practice. Part of medical practice is to know all options. And to also, a lot of times you go to the doctor, right? And then because they have a doctorate in medicine and not in drums, they will give you a placebo. They will give you medicine to treat whatever ails you. A lot of times today. But a good doctor will say, hey, so what else is going on in your life? Are you smoking? Are you doing these things? Like what's your sleep pattern like? They'll try to get a bigger picture of what your whole lifestyle is like so that they can actually do no harm and improve. But, medical doctors tend to be like, here is medicine. Because I'm a medical doctor. Like, you don't go to the car mechanic to make a sandwich, because then they'll just give you a carburetor with cheese. That makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
What? It's a trap!
I am seeing your, it's not, it's Restream that is delaying the chat, because I'm seeing the chat pop up quicker on, I see the chat pop up immediately, but the delay is in the stream. So the delay is going here. If anybody's interested, my stream is going out to Restream, which is the third party distributor of the stream, which sends it out to like Twitch, YouTube, all the other different streaming platforms simultaneously, and that's why we're getting the delay. People say thoughts and prayers is sometimes a way to say something nice that's not a commitment. It's easier to do thoughts and prayers than it is to visit Grandpa with a box of chocolates or whatever. Yeah, and you know what they say about life? It's like a box of chocolates. Eat the whole thing. Right? They say that about chocolates. You should probably. Forrest Gump says you never know what you're going to get. But somebody ought to inform Forrest Gump that the box of chocolates often will describe what's inside said chocolates. It'll be like, oh, this one's got peanuts. This one's got nougat. We had the nicest See's candy guy like a month ago. Right before my car got totaled. We went into a See's candy, and this guy was like, hi, I'm here to make your day better. And we're like, great. He's like, how about a dozen candies? And we're like, okay. He's like, how about extra candy for you? And we said, sure, well, you sold us, we're gonna. He's like, I'm gonna make your day happy. And I'm like, and then we said, how's your day? And he's like, it's not as good as your day's gonna be. And we said, okay. All right, well, how about you get us some chocolate? And he's like, I'm going to make you happy with chocolate. He was very, very aggressive with his wanting us to be happy. He plied us with chocolate. And it was funny because everything you said to be like complimentary back to him, he would like deflect. We were like, you're a very friendly guy. Well, I'm only trying to make your day happy. we got a little spooked by him, to be honest. We wanted to get out of there quick. Nobody's that nice. He had an agenda. But we did have 14 pounds of chocolate by the time we left. It worked. as host said, true as well, but as long as the intent comes from a good place, it doesn't matter much, the act itself. Yes, I'm not applying judgment. I'm saying what I would do or not do. Everyone can do the nice thing that they think is the nicest thing to do in that situation. Like, for instance, just send me chocolates. I'll give you a P.O. box. I'll be happy about it. Norm MacDonald has a great bit on all of this stuff that maybe I'll share in the in the Discord. Well, today, obviously, we're always talking about movies and music and TV shows. I still have to watch the latest version of What If? I haven't seen the latest version of What If, but I'm interested. I like that. The show's pretty good. I'm not like falling over my feet about it, but it's pretty entertaining. X-Men is trending. Ooh, X-Men is trending. Why is X-Men trending? After the MCU, no, but the X-Men were to be. Let's see. What's your favorite X-Men movie? Mine might be Days of Future Past. I liked that one. X-Men has always been inherently political. Yeah, breaking. X-Men reboot slammed by alt-right for bringing politics into the superhero genre. This is a hilarious... Hey guys, if you're fans of the X-Men, the whole point of the X-Men is about marginalized people in society. That's literally the entire point of the X-Men, and us not realizing the value of people who are marginalized in society. For instance, mutants. I don't know if you guys know this, but Eric, Magneto, spent his childhood in a concentration camp, so he's got a chip on his shoulder. He would like for the mutants not to be marginalized anymore. He would like for himself and other mutants who are more powerful than humans to be superior and reign over humankind, because he is a mutant. So what the alt-right is saying, X-Men were never about segregation or minorities. They were just about a group of people who were hated by society or be different. Wait a second, I kind of hear it, said Ben Shapiro. That's so stupid. Listen, I would like, hey,
Spoiling everything.
And I killed Sparky, too.
Hilarious. Hey, K-Griff, according to Ben Shapiro, the dumbest guy in what this is, talking, blogging, streaming, whatever he does, that dude gets paid to do this. I do this because I like it. I have no sponsorships or anything, but you can subscribe. You can join on Patreon. I can have a hiccup. You can support the channel through Patreon. You can support the channel by subscribing to Twitch. I do appreciate that. We like theories. We invite theories all along. It's funny because I had a theories channel, text channel on the Discord, which I arbitrarily decided to change to Matrix Theories, and then I read that Colleen, who just joined us, K-Griff, said, you should just change this channel to Matrix Theories. I did that. Sight unseen. Hilarious. Have you watched Black Widow? Yes, I have watched Black Widow. The first X-Men movie literally involved a senator. Yeah, it's really hilarious because Ben Shapiro, first of all, is a terrible commentator. I think maybe one day he'll get wrapped up in his own way of thinking. He is more concerned about winning arguments than he is about having good faith arguments. Ben Shapiro is the master of bad faith arguments. He comes from it of a how do I win this argument standpoint instead of, hey, let me try to get closer to what perhaps is more objective truth. He doesn't really like the concept of objective truth if it goes against his personal politics. This is what I've observed about Ben Shapiro. Stop listening to Ben Shapiro. He's an idiot. You could listen to me, I'm an idiot. I put the dumb in wisdom, I say. In the first X-Men comic, the supervillains didn't think they were evil, just that they had to stand up for their mutant rights and stuff. But literally in the second and third comic, they started calling themselves evil. Yeah, that's the cool thing about that I like about the dynamics I play Dreamcast. Side note, originally comics were supposed to be apolitical, light entertainment for kids and teenagers. Yes, that's true. They were supposed to be like bubblegum. Like I used to read when I get a hard piece of candy, of bubblegum Bazooka Joe candy, and it'd break your teeth because it was so hard, like little pressed pink bubblegum. You'd read a little comic book and it would say, "Hey Joe, I woke up this morning, I had a dream last night, I was eating a gigantic marshmallow." And then Joe's like, "Oh, that sounds like a great dream." He's like, "Yeah, except this morning my pillow was missing." I love those jokes. There's actually a really great bit by Bob Odenkirk where he's just reading Bazooka Joe comics. He's chewing gum and just reading the comics on stage as the jokes. For some reason, I've been getting a lot of phone calls around 3 p.m. my time. It's only the big film industry majors and or directors with mayhaps social agendas got on hold and then became political. I don't know. I think it's important that science fiction, that popular culture reflect society. I think that's important. I think that's what we remember. We mostly remember art from the times that were reflecting the social climate of the time. You feel me? That, like, the art that is the most relevant per generation is the one that actually holds up a mirror to that moment in society. And I think has the most impact over time. If comic books are light and fun, that's cool. But do we remember the light and fun ones, or do we remember the ones that actually had a social commentary? So the X-Men, I always liked that, you know, look, the guys who follow Magneto, they just have a personal agenda. They're like, look, we are superior than these humans, and the humans want to subjugate us. Let us just rule the world. Very similar to Killmonger in the Marvel MCU, the current MCU. Killmonger said, look, we've got all the technology. I'm the rightful king of Wakanda. Let's just take over the planet and stop hiding. Let's stop hiding our superior technology from the rest of the world. This is a very similar concept. He is more concerned with winning arguments than having a good faith arguments. Bingo, Ben Shapiro in a nutshell. Absolutely. This is Ben Shapiro in a nutshell is the 8th grade captain of the debate team. The captain of the 8th grade debate team. Ben Shapiro. Tell us why, Ben Shapiro, that elephants are lighter than a feather. Well, of course, if you take an elephant and you put it on a different planet in outer space, then weight is relative. The mass and the gravity and the due to acceleration due to gravity is why an elephant weighs what it weighs. And because if you were to put that elephant, say, on Jupiter or some other smaller, like, he would just try to win the argument. Meanwhile, common sense tells us, look, an elephant is not lighter than a feather, guy. Like, I don't know why you wasted all of our time. Come on, man. But he will be determined to win that argument. He will be determined. And you just gotta go, come on, man, take a walk. Just take a walk, dude. Calm down. My favorite is when he's reading the lyrics to Cardi B. That's always my favorite. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Carl Weathers Predator Weathers Report featuring the Action Jackson AccuPredator Doppler Radar Forecast and Cardi B. Oh man, Ben Shapiro is he does the greatest cover of my song. He does the greatest cover. The way it's wet and Gucci. He says, macaroni in the pot. Ben Shapiro, man, best singer of my songs ever. I agree. Also, it's partly cloudy. This has been the Carl Weathers Predator Weathers Report featuring the Action Jackson AccuPredator Doppler Radar Forecast and Cardi B. Oh no, there's a predator! Uh-oh. Spoiler alert. It's true. Ben Shapiro, please stop listening to Ben Shapiro. It's true though, right? Ben Shapiro is just... He will only try to win an argument and then people feel so justified in their bad faith a lot of times. They're like, I think this is the thing. This is the needle that gets threaded. There are people that don't like to feel like they're in the wrong, let's say.
let's say that they don't want to acknowledge a thing that is readily apparent. There are people out there that believe feathers weigh more than elephants. Say, I want to believe that this feather weighs more. So Ben Shapiro is your guy. He will take the hit for you. He'll lean into that argument. He'll try to win that argument no matter what. And you'll feel better about it, because then you won't have to admit that we all know that elephants weigh more than feathers. Mr. Donald oh, I would like to have a discussion between Ben Shapiro and Donald Trump, and then them scratching each other's back about everything that's possibly said. We would go to like crazy town on that one, as they say in improv. We'd become the president of space. Audibly chuckled at the debate team comparison. He really is. You just gotta give that kid a trophy. If I ever, and I really hope that one day I'd get to be on Ben Shapiro's show, because could you imagine me just coming at things with like, I'm just coming at things. I feel like I'm open to discussion. I feel like he's very focused on winning, and me, I'm like, hey, let's have a talk about it. Let's I would watch. I think I would want to be on Ben Shapiro's show. Let's make that happen. I'd like to talk to you, Ben Shapiro, because I would want to just have fun with that guy, because he doesn't seem like a guy who likes to have fun. Too much fun, anyway. He just seems very. He gets real angry too. You see him get all like worked up, and you see him be like, "Oh man, this guy's angry about something." He just wants to win. He goes into like attack mode. I only know this because he was on some show I was watching a couple weeks ago, and I saw that they were like coming at him, and he got like all like ready to attack. On the low gravity, yes. Master Killer, he would be like, well, if you were to take an elephant, and if you were to take a feather and put them inside an actual vacuum, or close to vacuum, they would fall at the exact same rate due to acceleration due to gravity. So who's to say which weighs more? He just will not. He will not accept anything other than his own argument. Look, I could be, I like, if I went on his show, I would just argue like him right back at him. Listen, Ben Shapiro, I took logic courses, and I took several debate and philosophy classes in college. So I see what you're doing. It's like literally textbook stuff. You could just break it down mechanically, and you're not trying to like actually listen, you're not trying to empathize, you're not trying to critically think about a subject outside your own personal worldview, which, by the way, you know, if you can't see the world outside your own specific bubble, then maybe that isn't in your best interest. Maybe that isn't something that you should even consider, because it doesn't affect you personally necessarily. Should you care about what doesn't affect you personally? I think so. But, you know, maybe he doesn't, and that's fine with him. Just don't come to my dinner parties. I don't think we'd have much to talk about. Yes, but lesser masses will always differ. Yes. Well, of course, Master Killer, as you know, mass and weight are different things. One is they are only relative when there's an acceleration or gravity aspect or inertial aspect to it. If you can divide the world between us and them, it becomes okay to fight dirty against them because they are cheating all of the time anyway. That is very much, that is an astute observation. I play Dreamcast. I think that is a mentality that people have in this world. And, you know, I don't know, it takes a lot, it takes more energy for me to have that mentality. So I choose the path of least resistance, and just to be kind and be like open instead of like ready to fight for things that are baseless and in bad faith. I hate being wrong, so if I am, I try to understand it as quickly as I can and do. Yeah, you know, I play Dreamcast. That's a funny thing you said. That's interesting you said that. That's a very good word of wisdom, I play Dreamcast. That is a very open-minded and way to grow as a human being and grow intellectually. That's a good approach, I think, from my opinion, from my standpoint. That is a great way to grow and glow up intellectually, because you are considering expanding your worldview and your thoughts. And actually, if you think the same thing you thought when you were 5, you have not grown. If you've expanded your worldview and thought process, that's more interesting to me. You hate being wrong. But here's the thing that I learned, and it took me a long time to learn this, probably way too long. But a lot of times people say, hey, what's this? What's the answer to this? And so many people in this world are compelled to provide an answer. For instance, they're like, well, what's that? What is this over here? And then some people will, like Ben Shapiro, well, that's obviously it is this, and this can be explained by this, and that's, and then they'll provide a long-winded answer, even if they don't have the criteria or expertise or anything. They just feel compelled to provide an answer. I learned, and this might be the lesson for today, I guess, for me. I learned that it is okay. Check this out, guys. Mind-blowing. It's okay to say, I don't know the answer to that. It's okay to say that. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. It makes you willing to learn. Sometimes people they say they yell at, for instance, Dr. Fauci last year, and they were like, how come they didn't know the answers to everything at the beginning of the pandemic? You know what I mean? They're like, how come you don't know all of the answers to everything at the beginning of the pandemic when we haven't gathered enough information and data to actually start to reassess? It's okay, ladies and gentlemen. And I will stumble out the door on that note. It is okay to say, hey, I don't know. Let's find out. Let's think about it. Let's look at the data. Let's look at these experimental results. Let's make a hypothesis and then test it. Why don't we try that? It's okay to say, I don't know, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, from what I've watched of you, you don't know a lot of things, but you try to appear like you do. And that's unfortunate because it's obvious to a lot of people. But it's okay to say I don't know. You know, for instance, there are many politicians who are like, I'm going to end rape in Texas. You know you're not. Stop it. You know, the governor of Texas saying that a couple weeks ago. It's just like, no, you're not. Stop it. You can't do that. You have to deal with what exists. You have to deal with what is real. And you have to do your best to stop those things. But, you know, if you try to run for office and you're like, I'm going to end all crime. Good luck. Good luck with that. If you could divide the world, yes. He would just talk about how you were indoctrinated by the liberal agenda, that is, books. Yeah. In Shapiro's mind, LeVar Burton is a dangerous person because he wants you to read. But you don't have to take my word for it. Oh, I want to get that sound effect. From Reading Rainbow.
And knowing is half the battle.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have been wonderful. You've been receptive. I've tried to be as, you know, what's the term? Inclusive. Like, you know, you gotta include. It's not all about one or the other. It's about everybody. It's a mixing. It's a melting pot of ideas. I think that with the advent of Google and stuff, it's been harder for BSers to say things. I feel like dads in the 80s really got to make up a lot of stuff, yeah. Which I Play Dreamcast has provided us with many very hilarious characters. Say, like Cliff from Cheers. Hilarious character. Let me tell you. I'll tell you the answer to that. I actually worked with John Ratzenberger one time, and he's hilarious. He's a hilarious, nice guy. He's worth like $80-90 million. He's in every Pixar movie. He does a voice of every Pixar movie. But John Ratzenberger, hilarious individual and fun to work with. He was working on a Hallmark movie that he didn't have to work on. He just did because, you know, he likes to work and he likes to be around people. And it was fun to be around him because he would just be a nice presence on set. Depends on one source of information. Yeah, you know, it's really funny that because I think there's a lot of people that say, do your own research. If you're going to do your own research, why don't you read like the New England Journal of Medicine? Why don't you read actual studies and reports instead of like, say, Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's balls? Maybe not listen to Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's balls. Maybe listen to the panel of doctors. Why not 98.9% of all doctors? Why don't you try to like look at the actual data and studies? But sometimes people, they just look for information that makes them feel better. But and if you're like Ben Shapiro, facts don't care about your feelings. Facts only come from a scientific method or repeatable empirical experience with expected results. I agree. The rest are opinions. Yes. Opinions count when it comes to art. Opinions count when it comes to music. When it comes to movies, I care about your opinions. If you said The Matrix is a bad movie, if you said it was a good movie, there's no way to empirically prove that. It's just how you enjoyed it. Personally, it's a subjective experience. And that's what I love about this channel in general. We have subjective experiences. And a lot of times we have shared subjective experiences, which are so fun. That's why I love going to the movies. I love going into a movie theater. And if the experience hits right, everybody's cheering when, say, Captain America picks up Thor's hammer. Everybody's into it. Because we went on a journey with those characters in the MCU. We went on a journey with the characters in X-Men universe. And that's what, hopefully you'll continue to go on this journey with me. See how I did that?
Another one.
We got another show in the bag, guys. I've started this at the beginning of the pandemic last year. Daily streams. I've been doing streams noon, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at noon. And just, you know, Kay Griff, she's a stalwart. She gives us information. She knows all the stuff. Kay Griff is... And we've got Master Killa, and I play Dreamcast, and we've got people like 420 Artists had yesterday, and I'm Uncle Ron. Folks that hang out, have a good time, talk about things we like, talk about fun things. We make fun of Ben Shapiro. And when I say make fun, we literally make fun. We have fun doing it. We enjoy... Actually, Ben Shapiro is technically... he is the definition of fun. I need to have a Ben Shapiro face. I think I could do an impression of him. I haven't tried it until today, but I think I can do it. This show was brought to you by the letter dumb. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your opinions. I appreciate, and that's a fact. Because I said it. See that? Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for your input. Okay, Griff, I'll see you on the Matrix Theories channels if you guys want to join us chat about these Matrix theories. We got tons. So many different things that could be happening in this new Matrix movies. Remember how we had taught about unbiased sources in school? You know what? I wish they would really keep going with the unbiased sources. I remember specifically in 6th grade them teaching us how to write a news article. And it was like the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Like you had to do that. And just state the facts. Jack, that was important. Don't put your opinion in there. Don't Don't interpret the like why these things happened or how, like not necessarily how, but literally look at the information and present the information as it is. Don't make any conclusions. Don't be like the dude in Office Space who creates the board game jumping to conclusions. Be like Milton and burn the whole place down. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle. You're all beautiful. You're all wonderful. I appreciate your hanging out here. This is the daily meditation. I think that we all, I don't know, it helps me grow each day. So go out there, grow your fro, spread the joy. Tell us what you're looking forward to this